Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you all how to blur the background of any photo using the Photoshop. Okay, go to File, go to Open, select the file, select the image which you want to get blurred and select Open option. Now resize the image according to your compatibility like this, okay. And if you want to zoom any image, you can press and hold the Alt option from a keyboard and use a mouse slider like this. Okay, now let me tell you the logic behind the blurring of the background in expensive DSLRs and cameras. Okay, so always remember there are two things in a photo. The first thing is object, the subject. Object or the subject, and the another thing is the background. Okay, so when we are going to take the photos with any expensive cameras or DSLR, the DSLR lens have the capability to actually define the depth of the field in the photograph. Now what is depth of the field? Depth of the field, remember that the depth of the field is actually the distance between the nearest object and the farthest object in a photograph. Okay, so why the background gets blurred? Because the focus of the lens is always on the subject, and if the focus is not on the background, definitely the background is going to be blurred. I hope you understand the logic behind blurring of the background of the pictures taken by expensive DSLRs and cameras. Now why this thing don't happens with our regular mobile phone cameras or those cyber shots? Because the lens of those cameras do not have the capability to determine the depth of the field in the photograph. Okay, so remember there are many techniques, many methods that can be used to blur the background in a photograph. But I'm telling you the easiest way. To blur the background. Okay, so I would recommend you to take a photo which is absolutely clear, because we are going to make a selection of the object. And if the photo is clear, then the Photoshop will easily determine the pixels, the pixel values which needs to be selected. The sharper the image, the best selection you can make. Now remember one thing, whenever you are going to blur the background of an image in the Photoshop, you are definitely not going to blur the background which is on the same distance of the object. Little bit confusing, let's get it cleared. Now as you can see in this photograph, if you need to concentrate only on the child, you cannot deny the appearance of the branches of the tree, because the distance of the boy and the branches of the tree are equal. So if the lens is going to focus on the boy, it is definitely going to focus on the trees, and you cannot blur the branches of the trees. It also happens with our eyes. If you're going to focus on something, the rest of the things gets blurred. Okay, go and try yourself. Okay, now we are going to make the selection. Go to the selection tool. There are many of the selection tools available in Photoshop. I'm using the quick selection tool. If something else is selected, go to this option, right click on this, and there are two options, quick selection tool and magic wand tool. You can use the quick selection tool. By the way, I'm using Photoshop CS6. Press and hold Alt option, zoom the photograph and make a rough selection of the boy including the branches. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. You can take as much time you want for the selection. The better the selection, the better will be the result. And always remember, whenever you have selected some unwanted areas, you can always use Alt option and the plus will convert into minus, as you can see, and you can adjust it accordingly like this. That's it. I'm making a rough selection. I'm going to make a rough selection of this. Okay. You can increase and decrease the size of the selection tool by using square brackets. Now that the background has been selected, the things are getting much easier. Zoom the photograph and always remember to make a nice selection of the photograph. Go to Refine Edge and drag this window here and use this Refine Edge tool to refine the edges of the photograph. That's it. Something on the here. That's it, that's it, that's it. Here you go. Some on branches, some on these branches, and it's enough. This tool is actually used to refine the edges in a photograph. Smooth 7, take the value of the smooth as 7 and the contrast to 10 approx. Okay, always remember that the output to selection is selected. Click on OK, and here you go. Now let's remove this. Yeah, here you go. Now press Ctrl, Shift and I from your keyboard. Doing this will invert your selection. Now the selection has been inverted. Go to Filter, go to Blur, go to Tilt Shift, and here you go. Now you're going to blur the background. Here you go, here you go. Just zoom out the image and take it to the last. You can also adjust the value of the blur if you want to keep it more blurry or less blurry. 15 pixel I have set. You can go to 23, you can go to 32. I think 32 is enough for this. Okay. Select high quality, click the OK button, and now the Photoshop will process the blur. Now, click the right button of your mouse and select deselect. God damn, you got a photo which has a blurry background. That's all for today. Oh, and remember, don't blur the background which doesn't have a background like this. You can't blur the background in this photograph because there is no background. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day.